excited, don't know why. Hello and welcome to Thursday. We are making Jamaican ginger cake. That is right. I'm very excited about it. Jim is as well. Hopefully there'll be some left for Jim when he gets home. Hope you're all good on this lovely sunny Thursday afternoon. I'm having a great old day. I'm back on Facebook. I missed Facebook. YouTube was great. The whole thing about going to YouTube is that we can get the videos out to more people, maybe cheer me up, more people up, and spread the word. And it is still kind of the plan, but I kind of missed the intimacy of Facebook. With YouTube, you can't see who's coming on to watch. It just shows you how many people are watching. Whereas this way, I can see people's names as they pop up, so I know who's watching. And I really like that. And to be fair, the whole point of this was to cheer up all of my lovely friends and family on Facebook. So why not go back to Facebook where we can see everybody? Right now, as usual, I shall be bringing up my video on here. So yes, we are on Facebook again today. Instead of YouTube, we have a little dabble with YouTube, and if I can possibly get those 1,000 subscribers and go live on my phone, then we may go back to YouTube, because I kind of missed as well being able to show you in my oven with the phone. And the phone camera is actually a lot better than the laptop camera, which is strange. So yes, hope you're all well. Hope you've got all your ingredients ready for our lovely Jamaican ginger cake. Going to Jamaica, I promise I won't do the accent because it's embarrassing for me as well as you. So we won't do the accent. We're visiting Jamaica on this lovely sunny day, and we're going to be making a ginger cake. Isn't it strange that it's like a hot, sticky, spicy cake on a hot day? But Jamaicans like it, and it's hot in Jamaica, so let's not question. Right then, where's me? There I am. There I am. In my little apron. I've got my summer clothes on. If you've seen this top before, this is my sunbathing top, because it's easy to throw on over my sunbathing attire when I'm in the garden. And that's exactly what I've been doing today. Since lockdown started, I have been sticking to a schedule. I'm one of these people who crave having some sort of schedule, so I literally wrote myself like an hour by hour schedule of what I needed to do with my day. Very sad, I know. And I've been sticking to it. Start 9 AM Joe Wicks, then I have to wait and have breakfast after Joe Wicks. And I've been sticking to it, I've been doing well. Today, I've had a day off. That's right. I did Joe Wicks and I had breakfast, but then I did nothing else, and I literally lay in the garden for 2 hours. So, why not, eh? No one's going to be coming and asking me why I'm not working. So why not sit in the garden? Perfect day for it. And it is England. We never know when we're going to get another sunny day. So why not? But it's time to bake now, everybody. Happy Thursday! I hope you're enjoying yourselves and having a good Thursday. I'm having a great day. I apologise if you're not having such a good day. I'm probably one of them I'm that annoying happy person, aren't I? When you're having a bad day, the last thing you want is a really cheery person dancing around and trying to cheer you up. I'm sorry, but this is not the video for you. In fact, it is. You could just take the mick out of me the whole time. I will allow it. Mock me all you like. If it will cheer you up, carry on. Use me as something to have a vent about. That's when you're having a bad day. It's good to have a really good old rant and a vent about somebody. I could be that person for you. I'll happily do that. Right, now, hopefully everyone's on board. We're making Jamaican ginger cake today. So there's a couple of things that I want to go through with you before we get started. So let's get going. First of all, I am going to be making a Jamaican ginger tray bake, because I'm going to chop mine up into little pieces so that I've got more to give out to people. However, you can make yours. I've also got another little tin, because I'm not sure how much the mixture will fill that tray. So if it doesn't completely fill it, I can fill, or if it fills it overflowing, I can put some in that tin as well. However, the best thing for this recipe is a loaf tin. The best thing for this recipe to bake your Jamaican ginger cake in is a large loaf tin like this. So if you've got a large loaf tin, use that. If you don't have a large loaf tin, I would suggest using something similar to what you made your lemon drizzle cake in, like an 8-inch tin. That's quite a deep tin because it's quite a big mixture and it's going to make a big cake. So the other thing to remember, depending on what kind of tin you are using, that is going to change your oven baking time. Not your temperature though, so get your ovens on to 180 degrees. So the temperature will stay the same, your oven will need to be at 180 degrees. However, your baking time will vary depending on what kind of tin you're using to make your cake in. But I shall make you aware of this as we go along, as I normally do. The gloves had a wash last week, lovely and clean. Right then, so that's that. Baking dish is done, lined as well, so whatever tray or tin you're using, make sure you're getting some lining paper in there, or I've used some foil in there, so that your lovely cake doesn't stick, because the last thing you want is when you've spent loads of time making a lovely cake, is not to be able to get it out of the tin. That's not going to be so good, is it? Right then, we're ready to rock and roll. I've got all my ingredients in front of me, loads of spices. So let's go through our spices. Now I haven't put on the recipe fresh ginger, but if you have fresh ginger, feel free to use it. This is one of those cakes that will take a lot of flavour, and you can kind of use whatever you've got in your cupboard. Obviously it's called a ginger cake, so the most important thing to use is ginger. However, I know it's hard times and some of the shops don't have all of these ingredients, so don't panic if you haven't even got ginger. Use whatever other kind of sweet spices you've got, cinnamon, nutmeg. You can even use like a little bit of ground cloves or mixed spice, something like that, because all you want is that little bit of heat in there. Obviously, if you don't put ginger in, I'm not sure whether you can still call it a Jamaican ginger cake. Just call it a Jamaican spice cake instead. But yeah, so don't panic if you don't have all of the spices you need, because I know they can be hard to come by. The other thing that is on the recipe, but is not essential, is stem ginger. Now, stem ginger is beautiful. It's really sweet and syrupy, and there's even syrup in there. So if you have stem ginger, you can put some of that in as well. We're going to chop it into chunks and just put it in so that you get an extra burst of flavour when you get a bit of stem ginger. But you can also use fresh ginger. Now, fresh ginger, when you bake it, it's not as strong as your powdered ground ginger. So I'd always use, if you're using fresh ginger instead of ground ginger, I'd always use a little bit more. However, I'm going to use both, just for the hell of it, just to see what's going on. So if you're using fresh ginger, I would grate your ginger. Get all that skin off, and if you don't know how to get the skin off, the best way to remove the skin from fresh ginger is actually to use a spoon. The skin on ginger is really, really fine, and because you normally don't get much ginger, you only get like little chunks to a packet of ginger, you don't want to lose any of the flesh by trying to use like a peeler or trying to cut the skin off. So instead of using a knife or using a peeler, the best thing to actually use is just a bog standard spoon and just scrape the skin off. Now, ginger is really funny in texture, it's kind of stringy, so when you're grating, you'll find that it just kind of breaks apart and you get like little bits of stringy bits. That's absolutely fine, just keep hold of it all, and we're going to put all of that into our recipe. Again, you do not need to use fresh ginger. The recipe doesn't even actually call for fresh ginger, but I had some in the cupboard, so I thought, why not use it? Right, so that's all my ginger grated. Smells lovely already. Into kind of a big ball of mush, don't you can see that? Mushed ginger, done. And then if you've got stem ginger, give your stem ginger a little bit of a chop up into little chunks. Now, the recipe calls for 30 grams of stem ginger, but it is optional. I have a knife already, what am I getting another knife for? It is optional, so don't worry if you couldn't find stem ginger. I already had this in my cupboard, so that is why I'm using it. But if you don't have it, it is not a problem. It's not really going to change the recipe at all. It just adds a little bit of extra flavour. So I'm using, by the looks of things, about 2 ginger balls are going to go into my ginger cake. Balls of ginger, and I'm just going to chop them up now into little chunks. I'm not going to don't want to mush them up too much because the idea is I'm going to incorporate these into the mixture in little chunks. So once it's baked and you have a bite of ginger cake, you're going to get a little lump of sweet ginger. That's going to be amazing. You can literally eat this. This is not like fresh ginger where it's a bit strong. You can actually just eat stem ginger on its own because it's soaked in syrup, and it kind of takes away a lot of the heat and kind of makes it into like a sweet, like a candy, like a candied ginger. That's exactly what it is. How's everyone doing? How are we getting on? Everyone well? Everyone well? Hello everybody watching. Hello Eve. Hello Maria. Everyone doing well? Right, chop all this up. Great, and then I'm going to put that to one side and we can get started with the rest of our cake. Hopefully you've got all of your bits and bobs ready. Your tins should be lined, your oven should be on at 180 degrees, and let's get cooking. So, the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to weigh and measure out all of our dry ingredients. So this is all of your spices that you're using and your flour. Now I don't want you, the only thing dry thing I don't want you to put in is your bicarbonate of soda, and I'll explain why in a little bit. So here we go. We want 250 grams of plain flour. So we're not using self-raising today, we're using plain flour. If you only have self-raising flour, then don't worry, you can use self-raising flour. But the recipe calls for 250 grams of plain flour, and our raising agent in this cake is going to be the bicarb of soda. And it's very clever. I even did a little bit of extra research today about the effects of bicarb on milk. Who knew? This is how sad my life is. I literally just look into things like Google, what does bicarbonate of soda do to milk? And this is what I do. Right, so our flour is in there, 150 grams of flour. Now we're going to put in all of our spices. So we want 1 tablespoon of ground ginger. So I want a ginger, but it is a ginger cake, so it's kind of understandable. So we want a whole tablespoon of ginger. I'm just throwing it all over the place. Don't want it to be too heaped, but woo! Tablespoon of ground ginger. A little bit more just because why not? Now, it is kind of a thing, a palate thing as well. Like, if you're somebody that hates spice, can't take spice, it's probably not the cake for you, by the way, but you can kind of reduce the amount of spices that you're using if you think that it's going to be too much for your palate. Now I'm putting in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. Yeah, so if you're somebody that really, whoa, that's probably too much nutmeg. Get that lump back in there. If that can't take a lot of spice, then you might want to kind of reduce the amount of spice you want, but this is it's not gonna overwhelm the cake in any sense of the word. It's only gonna warm it up and give it a lot of nice flavour. If you're somebody who really likes a lot of spice and likes a lot of heat, then feel free to put in a teeny tiny bit of cayenne pepper. Now, cayenne pepper is really quite hot, so if you're using this, use it sparingly. I'd use half a teaspoon if you want to put a bit in. I'm literally going to put like a dash because this is Jim's favourite cake and he likes a lot of spice, so that's for you, Jim. Put in a dash of cayenne pepper. I am an absolute spice wimp. Cannot take spice at all, so that's for Jim. But I'm sure with all the sweet things in this cake and all the lovely syrupy sweetness, those spices are going to be really well balanced. So we've put into here our flour, 250 grams of plain flour. We've also put in 1 tablespoon of ginger, ground ginger. We've put in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a pinch, like a pinch of cayenne pepper. You will really blow your head off if you put more than a pinch in. It is hot. Woo, yeah, but this is a spicy ginger cake, so that's what you want. You want a bit of heat in there, a bit of spiciness. Right, so those are our dry ingredients, done. Now what we want to do is we want to dissolve most of our other ingredients in a pan. So let's get our pan on the go and measure out what we want in our pan. So we need a pan like this, deep pan. You can put on the hob. Oh, boring. Pop it on your scales, and we're going to measure out our butter first of all. Look down, there's so many ingredients on my list. I'm like, what on earth is next? Butter. We're putting into this, oh, make sure my scales is on, 125 grams of butter. I want to make love in this club. 125 grams of butter is going in there. Dun, dun, dun. And this is going to melt with our syrups and with our sugar and most of our other ingredients, but we're going to leave out our milk, and I'll explain why. So 125 grams of butter. I'm going to kind of thinly slice it to help it speed up the melting process. 125 grams of butter going in there, just like that. Then we want to put our treacles and our syrups in here. Now, the shops are all selling treacle, most of them, but if you didn't manage to find any treacle, this is quite an important flavour part of the cake because you want it to be quite dark and rich and treacly in flavour. However, if you couldn't find treacle, don't beat yourself up about it, just put in the rest in either golden syrup or whatever kind of syrup that you have in the house. Because, you know, it's hard times, we're in lockdown, everyone. We're in a national, global crisis. And, you know, treacle's not necessarily essential in your shopping, so I'm not going to tell you off for not having treacle. Just use what you've got and it's still going to taste good. It's still going to be a lovely cake anyway. So, we're putting in, ooh, I never really liked black treacle as a child, but this is going to be really nice and add great flavour to this cake. So, 125 grams of treacle. Oh, I was supposed to give you a tip on how to stop your treacle sticking to the spoon, but I've missed it. Right, 125 grams of treacle going in there. 125 grams each of treacle and of golden syrup. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna show you this trick. Nearly missed it. This is the whole point. Give you the tricks of my trade. It's not my trade, but I'm gonna show you my tricks anyway. So, a great way. Oh, drop my nuts. Drop my nuts out of the cupboard. Nuts going everywhere. I'll remember not to eat that. Great way to stop your treacle from sticking to your spoon is to use a tiny bit of oil on your spoon. Just a teeny tiny bit rubbed into your spoon, like so, on the front and on the back, just so that it's covered. You don't want actually any oil in your cake, but just give your spoon a bit of greasing with some oil and your treacle's not going to stick. Are you ready for this? So we're doing 125 grams of treacle. Oh my god, it is kind of working. Can you see that? It's just kind of dropping off. I mean, it's not like perfect, but it's better than it was, by far. Good tip. This tip I stole from the Hairy Bikers. That's what, look at that clean spoon. So we're nearly there with our treacle. Oh dear, I'm going to get very sticky. I do not like being sticky. Right, 125 grams of treacle. Alright, treacle going in there. I promised I wouldn't do accents. No accents today. Oh, I need 4 grams. Oh no, I'm going to have to clean my apron after this. It's going to be treacle on everything. Right, I only need 4 grams. I wonder how much 4 grams it is. About that much. Sticky fingers. Should have used another spoon. Oh, oh. Oh, 126. I'm sure that will be fine. I'm going to wash my hands. I don't like being sticky. Right. On to our golden syrup. Now, thankfully, my golden syrup is in a squirty bottle, so I don't need my spoon trick. But it actually did work. Like, the treacle didn't stick to the whole spoon, so that's a great tip to remember. If you're using syrup or treacle, anything like that, oil your spoon and it won't stick. Right, 125 grams of treacle and 125 grams of golden syrup. Squirty bottle of golden syrup, so I don't even need to use a spoon. And we need, oh, how have I managed that? I must not have used the squirty function last time I did it because the top's still on. Oh, it's a bubble. It's a bubble of treacle. It's getting a mess. We're okay everyone, let's keep on track. 125 grams of golden syrup. Hi Jean! Don't worry, I'm glad you're watching. It's good to hear from you. Whoop, here we go. 125 grams. I had a conversation with a lovely lady yesterday about the whole grams versus mils thing for liquids. It works for like water and milk and proper runny liquids. Doesn't work so well for syrupy things. No, the viscosity of your liquid is going to change the weight of it. But this is in grams, definitely. So we want just 125 grams. I'm just going to let it keep going. 125 grams of golden syrup and 125 grams of treacle. That's what we need. So that's what's going in. Oh, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. 123. Whoa, and we're there. We're there. Yes, perfect. Exactly 125. You don't know because you can't see it. I could be lying. I'm not lying, but you know. Right then, our syrups are in. The other thing that we need, don't lick your fingers. Oh, it's on me everywhere. Right, so we've got our butter in here, we've got our golden syrup, and we've got our treacle. We also need to put our sugar in here as well. Where's my sugar gone? Oh, it's right here. Right, so you should be using dark brown muscovado sugar. And in the same, oh dear, in the same kind of thinking as the treacle, the dark brown muscovado sugar, you need it for the flavour of it, for the richness and that treacly flavour. But if you don't have it, like I don't, I only have light brown sugar, don't worry, use what you've got. It's still going to taste amazing anyway, and it'll just be a bit of a different variation. So we need 125 grams of brown sugar. 125 grams. I've just ripped this bag. I'm not exactly the most OCD person in the world, but this is like giving me a panic attack now, thinking how am I gonna store this sugar now that I've ripped the bag? 125 grams, well, of sugar in there. Oh, there we go, 125 grams. Oh, I'm gonna have to like wrap it in foil or something, get some Tupperware for it. There we go. Woo! So we've got our treacle in there, we've got our golden syrup, we've got our brown sugar, and that's it, and our butter. That now goes onto your hob on a very low heat to warm up. And all we want is for all those syrups to kind of melt down and join together, for the butter to melt and the sugar to dissolve into everything else, and that's it. Be very careful that your mixture on the hob doesn't boil or we're going to be in trouble. So get it on a low heat, and all you're looking for is for that to all melt down and incorporate together. Now, oh, because I wiped treacle on my apron and now it's getting stuck on me. Why did I do this to myself? Treacle everywhere. Right, that's what aprons are for, I suppose. So, oh, itchy nose. We've got our treacles, our sugar and our butter on the hob. Now, all we need to do is measure out our milk, our bicarb of soda and our eggs. That's all we're missing so far. And this is where my little bit of research comes in, because the reason why all of the recipes I looked for Jamaican ginger cake all asked for plain flour and bicarb of soda. No baking powder, just bicarb. Unusual for a sponge recipe. The reason being is we're using milk and it's quite a heavy cake. So the bicarb packs a bit more of a punch than baking powder does. And the way that it does that, the sugar on the floor, the way that it does that is the acids we're going to be adding milk and bicarb of soda together. When the acid meets the alkaline, it creates some sort of gas, I can't remember what gas, but it creates bubbles, it creates air, and that is what is going to lift our sponge up. So we're going to mix them together once our warmed up mixture is finished. But the last thing that we want to add to that as well is our eggs. So I don't need the weighing scales. We're going to put 2 large eggs into a jug and give them a little whisk and a break up so that they're mixed together. A gentle whisking of our 2 eggs. Woo, lovely. Don't get any shell in there. Check there's no shell in your eggs. Great. Give it a very mild whisking and leave it to one side, and then we can go and take a look at our hob and see how our warming up ingredients are going. How's everyone doing? Everyone all right? Fabulous day. I'm loving the videos and pictures of everyone with their families, like out on walks down the river and things. Not having picnics, obviously. Picnics are not what you should be doing unless they're in your own back garden, but we're allowed to go for a walk, and I like to see people out walking, enjoying nature. We don't really get time for that in normal lives, do we? Right, so as you can see, my treacles and my syrup are already quite runny, and they're kind of mixing together. My sugar is kind of incorporated, but it's not quite dissolved yet. And my butter is melting, nearly all melted. This is looking good. So again, we do not want this to get too hot or to start to boil. All we're really doing is kind of incorporating it all together. So we warm it up so that the 2 treacles, the treacle and the golden syrup, join together. And so that our butter and our sugar is kind of involved within that. Otherwise, if we try to put treacle and golden syrup into a flour mixture, you're going to get blobs of treacle flour, you're going to get blobs of golden syrup flour, and not a lot of mixing of the 2. So this is a much better way of doing it. Warm this mixture up, but if it gets too hot or it starts to boil, we're going to have like a real thick, like burnt syrup on our hands, and that is not what we want. So everything's melted. I'm going to give it a couple more seconds just so that the sugar can kind of dissolve a little bit more. But that is done. That's all you want. You just want it runny. You want everything mixed together. I've got a frog in my throat. Ever since this whole coronavirus thing, I'm literally afraid to cough in public, just in case, like it's like Monsters Inc. when they throw a child's toy or something or a sock on somebody and all the CIA people jump out from behind a wall and put a tent over you. But don't worry, it's just phlegm, it's not corona. Right, we're done. This is one nice thing as well. Being able to use my phone means that I can bring you over to see what's going on in the pan and what's going on in the oven. Nothing's going on in the oven at the moment, but you know. Right, back we come to our podium. I missed my tripod as well. Jim set me up a lovely tripod. Right, so we've got our hot mixture, we've got our dried mixture, we've got our eggs. All we need now is our milk and bicarb. So here we go with the sciencey part of it. Just making sure my jug was clean. Now, I'm slightly worried because all I have is soy milk, and I'm mildly concerned that it won't have the same kind of pH balance as normal milk would. But it's all I've got, and I'm not going to worry about it. So let's give it a go. If it doesn't work, I'll end up with like, what will I end up? I'll end up with like some sort of treacle slab brick. Still going to taste good, so I don't mind. 120 mils. Now this is proper liquidy, so the mils will be equal to the grams. And I've got a little mils function on my scale so I can check. Too much. We only want 120 mils of milk. You can use any kind of milk you want. I'm guessing whole milk will probably be best. Give it a richer flavour, but any milk that you have will work. I'm using soy milk, so why not? Right, we've got our milk in there. Now, just for my own peace of mind, I'm going to check the mils, 120 mils. And we're going to add to that 1 teaspoon of bicarb. Then, teaspoon of bicarb. Give that a mix. See what happens. And I'm going to add that into my eggs. Make sure that I haven't left any bicarb at the bottom of the jug. So you're mixing your milk and your bicarb together. Then you're putting your milk bicarb mixture into your eggs. And now we're going to mix everything together with an electric hand whisk. So get your trusty electric hand whisks out. You know what, I'm just going to do it by hand. Just going to do it by hand. If you've got an electric hand whisk, feel free to use your electric hand whisk. I do not. So I'm going to do mine by hand. And what we're going to do is we're going to add our sugary treacle, syrupy loveliness, to our eggs first. And then we're going to put all of that into our flour. So this is what we're doing. I've got my heated mixture here. It's just warm, not too hot. And I'm going to keep my eggs moving and add my treacle into my eggs. And we don't want to miss out on any of that treacle, so I'm going to just grab my trusty spatula and make sure that all of that sugar and treacle and syrup is all in to our eggs. Lovely. Now we're going to add all of this to our flour. So put it in a bit at a time so that you know that all of that liquid mixture is coming together with all the flour. You don't really need to whip it up too much. That's why I've decided to use a hand whisk. You don't need the power of an electric whisk so much because we're not really trying to beat air into it. Our bicarb's going to do that for us. We're literally just trying to make sure that the mixture is free from any lumps, that all the flour and all the liquid ingredients have all come together and that there's no lumps of anything, and that's all you're really looking for. So we don't need our electric hand whisk, but we do need a little bit of muscle and a little bit of mixing power just to make sure that all of those ingredients have come together. Get right to the bottom of your bowl, make sure there's no flour at the bottom of your bowl. Right then, time to pour it into our cake tin. As I said before, at the start, I'm using a tray bake tin. So I'm going to be making a tray bake ginger cake. Oh gosh, I nearly forgot. Good thing I didn't forget. My fresh ginger and my stem ginger. So the last thing, pop in, if you've got stem ginger or fresh ginger, pop all of that in. Give that a bit of a mix up with everything so that it's evenly distributed through the mixture, like so. And we'll pop it into our tray. So yeah, I am making a tray bake Jamaican ginger cake. But you can use a loaf tin, you can use the same tin that you used for your lemon drizzle cake. You could, if you've only got like 2 8-inch kind of sandwich cake tins, use them, you'll end up with 2 cakes, perfect. Right, now, I'm get my spatula, make sure that I'm not missing any of this mixture, and then it's all going in the oven. So scrape your bowls well. It's quite a runny mixture, which is actually good, because it means that it sits nice and evenly in the tray. Right, our oven should be heated up now to 180 degrees. In our cake goes, and it's going to be in there for about half an hour altogether. If you are using a deeper tin or a loaf tin or putting your cake mixture into a smaller tin, it's going to need longer because the heat will need longer to penetrate the middle of your cake. Because mine is flatter and more evenly spread out, mine won't take as long as yours will, so bear that in mind. Mine is going to take about 30 minutes, but as usual, we're going to put 10 minutes on our clock and we're going to check it after 10 minutes. There we go. Oh, let's just check our recipe. I mean, not that it matters now because it's in the oven, so we can't really do anything if we've missed anything, but let's check just for the sake of it. We've got our ginger and our cinnamon and nutmeg in there. I put in my stem ginger. Yep, we're all good. Treacle's in there, gone to great. We're okay, everyone. We're okay. We've done well. I kind of want to see what the pH balance of soy milk is. I'm not going to worry about that now. Because now it's time to tidy up. And you know what that means. And I have some exciting news for everybody. I took out a free trial. I thought I'd already done the free trial. But I got the free trial on Amazon Music. Which means I can play all the songs that it wouldn't let me play. So if you've got any requests, any music requests, send in your music requests. I'm not a DJ. That's Jim's job. Jim's the DJ. But Alexa is my DJ. And she's been keeping me going through this whole lockdown process. So let's get a song on. Now there's a couple that I've asked her for over the past few weeks, and she hasn't played, so I'm going to start off with them. One of them being, Alexa, play Rusted Root, Send Me On My Way.
Send Me On My Way by Rusted Root on Amazon Music.
This is my and my sister's happy song. If you're feeling down, just stop music. Alexa, volume 10. There's no way that you can feel sad with this song. Now I've listened to this 4 times today since I took out my free trial, and it's different to the one I'm used to. It's got a longer intro. It just means I can talk to you before we get started. Cleaning is just as important as baking. Start cleaning. Do you know what film this is from? If you can tell me what film this song is from, you get points.
I would like to hold my hand. I will run with, I will crawl. I would like to hold my hand. I will run with, I will send me away, send me away, send me away, send me my way, send me away, send me away, send me my way.
Like you're going on a journey.
I would like to reach out my hand. Oh, me say you, oh, me tell you. What is it?
So excited.
Well, pick me up where I'm going high. Oh, me say you, oh, me tell you.
This is not as good as the version of the film.
What is it? I would like to hold my hand. I will run with, I will go. I would like to hold my hand.
Alexa, stop. I keep forgetting that I'm not allowed to play the whole song, or Facebook will delete my video. Oh, it's even scarier on YouTube. It's one of the things that freaked me out about going live on YouTube. There's a lot of rules. Some of my videos were blocked in China. Who knew? Right, my area's almost clean. Any song requests, hit me up. Oh, there was a song that I wanted to play today. It's nice and mellow. It's a great one. Alexa, play... Alexa, stop. I know what song it is. Alexa, play Wear Sunscreen. I think it's by Baz Luhrmann.
Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen
Yes.
by Quindon Talva on Amazon Music.
Quindon Talva, I didn't know that.
Ladies and gentlemen of
What
the
song?
class of 99,
Life
wear
lessons in this.
sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be...
On a day like today, this is
The
song is very
long-term
important.
benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense this advice now.
Great song.
Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand the power and beauty of your youth until they've faded. But trust me, in 20 years, you look back at photos of yourself and recall in a way you can't grasp now how much possibility lay before you, how fabulous you really are. You are not as fat as you imagine. Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be things that never crossed your worried mind, time that blindsides you at 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. Do one thing every day that scares you.
This scares me.
Say it. Don't be reckless with other people's hearts. Don't put up with people who are reckless with yours. Flaws. Don't waste your time on jealousy. Sometimes you're ahead, sometimes you're behind. The race is long. In the end, it's over with yourself.
Getting all emotional.
Remember compliments you receive. Forget the insults. If you succeed in doing this, tell me how. Keep your old love letters. Throw away your old bank statements. Stretch. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. Get plenty of calcium. Be kind to your knees. You'll miss them when they're gone.
Good bit.
Maybe you'll marry, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have children, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll divorce at 40. Maybe you'll dance the funky chicken on your 75th wedding anniversary. Whatever you do, don't congratulate yourself too much, or berate yourself either. Your choices are half chance. So are everybody else's. Enjoy your body. Use it every way you can. Don't be afraid of it, or what other people think of it. It's the greatest instrument you'll ever own. Dance. Even if you have nowhere to do it but in your own living room. These directions, even if you don't follow them, do not read beauty magazines. They will only make you feel ugly.
Alexa, stop. That's all we've got time for. I'm sure Baz Luhrmann sang that song. Oh, what a great song. Reminds me of my dad. There were life lessons in there. Very wise man, my dad. And he loves that song. Loves that song. Because it's so true. I mean, I heard that that song was actually taken from somebody's graduation speech. And if it was, Americans graduate, what, 18, 19? Maybe 20 at most? Somebody wrote that as a graduation speech, knowing wiser than his years, clearly, whoever it was. But if you live by what that song says, you can't really go far wrong in life, can you? And at a time like now, when the whole world is in such an uncertain time. I mean, did anyone ever think in their lifetimes we would be going through something like this? A global pandemic that has touched every continent of the earth, closing down trains, planes, stopping, you know, the stock market is in uproar, people are in their homes. It's just crazy. I never thought, when I really think about it, it's baffling just how weird it is, but it puts life into perspective. And generations before us went through far worse. So you've just got to take it in your stride. You've got to take it in your stride. You've got to do something every day that makes you happy. He says do something every day that scares you. Well, you know, small things scare me sometimes. Going on Facebook every day, that scares me. God knows what you lot will think. But it's a good song to live by. So go back and listen to that song again. If you're feeling like you're having a bad day, or you're not sure about things in life, jot down what the song says and just stick to that, and you can't go far wrong. Be kind to your knees, because you'll miss them when they're gone. Oh, our alarm's gone off, everyone. No more life lessons from Soph, because it's time to look in our oven. It's the most important, exciting part of the bake. I feel like the kid from The Incredibles where that it explodes with excitement. And flames, I'm not going to explode with flames, but you know, the oven might. Right, dun, 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 dun. I even cleaned the door for you so you could get a good look today. It is fluffing up, which means that whatever happens with the milk, it works with soy milk. I've got 2 big blobs in the middle there. God knows what that is. Looks good, it's puffing up. I wish you could smell what this smells like, because this smells amazing. Oh, it's good. It's going to be good. Looks awesome. Right, that's going to need... it's had 10 minutes. I'm going to give it another 10, but I might check it after 5. Because the recipe for this bake calls for a loaf tin. Like I showed you before, a deep loaf tin. And if you're baking in a loaf tin, it actually says it's going to need 45 minutes, maybe more, which means that it does need quite a long bake. So we don't want underbaked cake. No, we don't. So I'm going to set my alarm for another 10 minutes because I'm thinking it's definitely going to need 20 minutes. And we'll check it after that. Obviously, as I said before, because it is in a shallow tray, it's spread quite thinly, it's going to bake a lot quicker than if it was in a deep tin or in a loaf tin. So mine will be baked a lot quicker than yours. But just bear with me and I'll tell you all about what time you need to take it out and what not. How is everyone? That song was called Everybody's Free, and I forgot who it was by. Alexa, play Everybody's Free. I'm sure it's by Baz Luhrmann.
Everybody's Free by Rosella on Amazon Music.
This is something else. Alexa, play Wear Sunscreen.
Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen by Quindon Tarver on Amazon Music.
Alexa, stop. Thank you, Alexa. Yeah, it's by Quindon Tarver. Kate, if you've got an Alexa, ask Alexa because she knows everything. Or let me ask her, just put her real close and I'll ask her again. Rich, what was that song that you wanted to play the other day but I couldn't? Oh, what was it? You sent me it in a message. It's something like... Dun, 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 dun. It's called... Let's... Together... Alexa, play Together We'll Be Okay. Who's that by?
Here's Cannon and Ball Together We'll Be Okay by Cannon and Ball
This is for
on
Rich
Amazon
Dad.
Music.
Rich Dad, you're a legend. Thank you for all your support and help. This is a great sentiment for what we should all be feeling right now. Sad
Laugh
happy
me a
time.
laugh, grin me a grin, and then I know that we can win. Dance me a dance, joke me a joke, and blow the clouds away. You gotta play me a tune, or sing me a song, and we can help us life along. Just you and me, come on and see, together we'll be okay. Open the door, open your heart,
Open your heart.
and then we got somewhere to start. Just turn around, look what we found. Today's a brand new day. You gotta run with me now, I'll show you how. The world is waiting, take our bow. Show them it's you, what you can do. Together we two can win. Rock down, Tommy, dance to a tune that this guitar sings. Alright down, Tommy, just get up and spread your wings. Spread your wings, follow me through into the sun. And we can smile at everyone. You gotta join in with me, then we are free. It isn't hard to do. I still life is a song, so just sing along, and then we know can't go wrong. Just you and me, come on and sing. Together we'll be okay. Together we
Stop. Oh, love it. Well done, Rich. Good choice. There's something else I want to show you. This is very sad, but while I've got your attention, I may as well show you. One of the other reasons why I was having such a wonderful day today is because I can't remember whether I told you a few weeks ago that I killed off my pansies. I bought them a bit too early. They were overnight on one of the really cold nights a few weeks ago, and I woke up in the morning and they were all just like... And they revived. and you would not believe how amazing they look. I'm going to show you. This is really sad, and now I apologise, but come and look at these. Oh, turn my camera around. No one wants to see my face. Look. Nearly lost you. I nearly lost you. Wi-Fi clearly doesn't go into my garden, but look. They stand up so perfectly, like little faces, and they look out at the sun. If pansies can be revived from being nearly frozen to death by ridiculous amateur gardener, then we can survive this lockdown. Yes, we can. We're in it together. We can do it. Oh, I'm just watching that back. Yeah, I did nearly lose you there for a minute. That scared me. It kind of went, lost connection. Right, my cake has had another 5 minutes. So I'm going to show you what it looks like in the oven. Come with me again. I'm sorry if this makes you dizzy. Look away, this makes you dizzy, this moving around. Oh, see how, oh, the top's puffed up even more. So much so that those little nipples on top have gone. Well, they're just kind of sunk in a bit more. Looks good. I mean, that to me, if that was in a round tin, that would be the point where it's kind of peaking. It's pulling away from the edge of the foil a little bit. This all tells me that it is baking well. I reckon another 5 minutes and this will be done, you know. Now remember, if you're using a deeper tin, a smaller tin even, your cake's going to take a lot longer. It's going to take 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So don't jump the gun. Don't follow me at this point, because your cake might take longer than my cake. Now there's something else that we need to do with our sponge. Whenever I've had Jamaican ginger sponge before, and this is the first time I've ever made it myself, it's always quite sticky, like it's got a syrup glaze or something on it. And I was reading up about this, and apparently the stickiness kind of matures as the cake rests. So when you take it out, it's going to be relatively dry on top. It's not going to feel sticky. And then as it cools and as it rests, it's going to develop stickiness. But I want a bit of extra stickiness. Like, you can't have too much stickiness, too much syrup on your sponge cake, now can you? So I'm going to make a little syrup glaze using some golden syrup and some of the syrup from my stem ginger. Now, if you want to do this as well, this is literally just me messing around and trying to upgrade the recipe a little bit. So feel free not to do this. If you know more than me about Jamaican ginger cake, which is very possible, I'll have you know, then, and you know that this is not necessary, then carry on. You are under no obligation to make a glaze. I just kind of thought it kind of reminded me of like a lemon drizzle cake. Like if I poke little holes and I put some syrup on, it's just going to soak in and make it like a syrup sponge. So that's what I'm going to do. Put like a syrup glaze on top. I'm not going to do too much. I'm going to do about a tablespoon of golden syrup and about the same of the stem ginger syrup. And I'm going to warm it up so it's quite runny, so I can just kind of drizzle it on top and brush it on top. Because at the very least, it's just going to make it even more moist and tasty and delicious. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of golden syrup in there. Ooh, nearly out of golden syrup. I've never used it so much in recipes. It adds a lovely moisture to cakes. I really must sort out the lid of that. About a tablespoon of the syrup from the stem ginger. Now, it might mix together well on its own. It does. The viscosity of the golden syrup is a little bit thicker, a little bit higher than the syrup off of the stem ginger, but it is mixing together well. What time is it? I've got 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the microwave, ready for me to warm up, so that it's ready just when the cake comes out, because I want to put it on my cake. As soon as my cake comes out of the oven, it's still hot. Now, let's get our cooling rack ready. And I will show you, like I have shown you many times before with sponge cake recipes, how to make sure your sponge is cooked. You need a clean underneath. And that's it, that's all you need. Right, let's get my syrupiness into the microwave. Just in case you don't put the metal spoon in the microwave, that would be foolish. Right, pop that in the microwave, give it a bit of a warm through. I'm going to put it in for 30 seconds. Oh no, in fact, syrup does crazy things in the microwave. And put it in for 10 seconds, and that's it. 10 seconds is all you need to microwave syrup because it goes crazy. And I shall show you. It kind of fizzles and boils up. Yeah, see, that's all you need. 10 seconds. It was even less, it was 9 seconds. Really runny, ready to drizzle. Perfect. Right, now, one more minute and then we can take the ginger cake out of the oven. So excited about this. I don't think I've been quite as excited about any of the recipes. I think it's because I've never made it before. It's something I've always liked. I don't know why I've never made it before. Strange. Right, come on alarm, come on alarm, come on alarm. Alexa. It's too late, Alexa. I can't have any more songs on because it's gone off. Here we go.
I don't know that one.
I'm sure you don't. Right, let's get it out of the oven. Whoa, whoa. Now, it's tricky with this cake because it's very dark anyway. So we're putting our knife into the middle, taking it out, and it should be clean, like that. That's how you know it's cooked. Another way is if you touch the surface of your cake and it springs back and doesn't leave a dent, that means it's cooked as well. It's cooked, it's cooked. I'm so excited. Right. Now, if you feel like going rogue like me, then you need something that you can poke your cake with. Oh, I used my meat poker before. I'm gonna poke it, why not? I'm gonna poke it. This is only if you're putting a syrup drizzle on. I'm poking my cake. Oh, it smells really good. Jim, I'm so sorry, but there might not be any left by the time we come home. This might be one that I can't deliver to people because we end up eating it. Right, I'm gonna put. Oh, I'm just gonna go for it. Why not? Just drizzle it on top. There we go. And I'm just gonna spread that out. Just liberally spreading syrup over the surface of my cake because, let's face it, why not? Why on earth not? Here we go. Drizzly syrup. Oh my gosh. I'm just resisting the urge. Just dig the spoon in. Right, now I'm going to leave this. Am I going to leave it to cool in the tray? I kind of want to get it out of the tray, but I don't want to break it up. Yours, if you're baking in a loaf tin or a bigger tin, yours won't be ready, so do not take yours out of the oven. But that is a good way to tell. It should dough, should sink ever so slightly. Then when you take it out and you touch the surface, it should rise back up. You can do the knife trick as well. Put the knife into the centre of your cake, in the very middle. And if it comes out nice and clean, not a speck of mixture on it, then it's done. And now foolishly, I can't flip the cake over because I've just put drizzle on it. What a plonker. Right, let's not worry. You know what I'm going to try and do? I'm going to do it with my back turned just in case it doesn't work. I'm just going to try and lift my cake out using the foil. Oh, it's pretty sturdy. Right, let's do this. Woo! Yeah, it is. It's quite nice and sturdy and springy. That's probably thanks to the bicarb of soda. It gives it a bit more of a kick, a bit more of a boost to our raising agent. Look at that. That looks epic. Oh my gosh, and the smell is unbelievable. Right, I'm just going to peel the sponge away from the foil. Oh look, some of it's got stuck to the foil. That means I've got to eat that bit. Right, let's taste it. Oh, lovely. Really nice. The edges are a little bit firm. I don't think it's overbaked though. It's literally only had 20 minutes. There we go. Now, I'm going to let that cool down. Then I'm going to chop it up and I'm going to eat it. And I'm not even going to feel bad about it. We have just made Jamaican ginger cake. Oh, for the very first time. It smells ace. You know what? Considering I put a whole tablespoon of ginger in there, you do get the ginger, but it's not like overpowering. This is the thing with some of these recipes, you can go pretty hard on the old flavours. So taste your cake, send me your pictures of your cakes. I hope they turned out well. I hope you loved this recipe because I really enjoyed making this with you. So send me pictures of your cakes. Keep an eye on them in the oven, make sure they don't overbake. It's hard to tell because it's quite a dark mixture and a dark sponge. Send me pictures, hope you've enjoyed it, and that's all there is to it. Jamaican ginger cake, done, ticked off the list. Tomorrow, what are we making tomorrow? What day is it? Friday. We're making apple upside down cake tomorrow. Now I haven't put the quantity of apples on there because apples vary in size, but I will be using 5 Granny Smith apples. We may only need 4, but I shall let you know as soon as we start. So if you've bought yourself a bushel of apples, I shall let you know how many you need for the apple upside down cake tomorrow. That's a really nice one as well. Hope you've enjoyed today. Have a lovely afternoon. The sun is still out. Is that a cloud? Sun is still out. Get yourselves out in the garden with a cup of tea, and I will see you same time tomorrow afternoon for another bake. Thank you all for watching, and see you tomorrow. I love you.